Hello everyone, Lily the Deck Harlot here. Welcome to my channel. Returning viewers, welcome back. I'm happy for you to be here. And today I thought I would start filming my tarot card collections. Now I've already completed my Oracle card collection, which I thought, because I have a lot less, I thought it would be easier to get used to get into the groove. So today I would like to start with my deck collection that consists of Rider-Waite Smith decks. And I'll start with this one here, which is the standard yellow box US game Rider-Waite Smith deck. It is not my first Rider-Waite Smith. I actually, when I started reading about 30 years ago, a few years in, I actually bought the Universal Weight, which was colored by the one that did the Robin Hansen deck. I forget her first name, I'm sorry. And I eventually gave it away. But when I did take a class in 2015 for tarot, the teacher insisted on us getting the Rider-Waite Smith. And so this is the one I got, and that's the one I studied with, and that's when I fell in love with the Rider-Waite Smith. So as I'm talking, I know the colors are harsh, and it's the reason why I resisted getting this deck for so long, but it's the deck that finally made me a tarot reader instead of a tarot book knower, if there is such a thing. And this is the deck, if I'm going to read for other people, it's usually the deck I reach out for. And if I'm traveling with friends, like I mentioned in another video, this is the deck that I will bring with me. So we've seen all the images, so I'm not going to dwell too much on this one. And I've used it so much that I eventually had to get another container for it. And in the same vein, I also have the pocket size. And it's the one that I take to, if I go to seminars or courses or classes or meetups, I'll take this one because it doesn't take a lot of room on the table, and it's easy to replace if there's ever any damage. So I also have this one, the Smith-Waite Tarot Deck Centennial Edition. And I actually like this one, and for some reason I never think about using it, probably because I keep it stored in another part of the house. And it's one of the few reproductions that, and actually this is a good example, where the King of Swords looks like the Uncle Sam, I watch you look. And I do like that one, and it's it's popular for a reason. The colors aren't as harsh as the Universal Weight, and although I do have the one in a tin, I'm actually thinking of getting. Eventually, I'll go get myself the regular size tarot deck. Then I have this one here, which is the Albino Weight Tarot. And this one is just fun because of the weird coloring that Mr. Albino put to the cards. I've never followed the history of it, so I'm not exactly sure why he decided to do that. And this is not, like, this is an edition I got a few years ago, so it's not one of the older copies, which I guess the color saturation is a little bit different. But, you know, to me it makes sense that if you're going to have wands with the fire element, you want a lot of orange in it. So there's the Rider-Waite tarot. The next one that I'm going to show you is this one here, which is the Pamela Colman Smith. I think it's also known as the Dirty Pam. And again, it's one where they've revised the coloring. And I do like the coloring. I'm not sure I like the fact that they redrawn the lines, which in my book might change the meaning. And will probably be the subject of another video, because I do think strongly about it. But the colors in this deck are just beautiful. And I believe this deck is getting harder and harder to find. And which is the reason why the Radiant Wise, I think Radiant Wise is a copy of this one. Although, don't quote me on that. So this is the Pamela Colman Smith by Los Carabeo. Another one that I have, that I got, is this one. And it's the French edition, as you can see, because when I bought it, it was affordable compared to the English one. And this is the deck, like the Rider-Waite, has unusual coloring. But it's also one of those decks, which is actually pretty obvious here, where the lines, especially the faces, have been redrawn. And I find that the fact they redrawn the lines, the redrawing is so bad that I rarely read with it. But I do like the coloring. And eventually, I'm not sure if this is a deck I'll keep. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's terrible. So this is the Golden Rider. And here's a deck that I got from, this is actually an independently published deck that was published by Dusty White. And as you can see, it's a numbered deck. And these are the backs. And this was the additional card, the John Lennon card. But this is a deck that's faithful to one of the earlier printed versions of the 1910 decks. And don't ask me which one, because I'm not sure. It probably says on the card. No. And this one, because it is a limited edition, it's another deck that I don't use. I don't want to mess it up. Although, I guess in case of emergency, I would use it. So, this is the House of White, Rider-Waite Smith. And the last one I'm going to show you is this one here, which is the Delos Tarot. And the only reason I'm including it here, because it is an independently published deck, but it is so close to the actual Rider-Waite Smith. Like, it was redesigned, but it's, if it wasn't for the fact that it wasn't redrawn, it could probably say it was plagiarized. And it is stinking cute. And it's also one that could appeal to children if you so happen to read tarot cards with kids. And this is the Delos Tarot, everyone. In this segment of showing my tarot decks, I thought I would go ahead and show you what I consider traditional tarot decks apart from the Rider-Waite Smith. And I'll start by showing you this one, which is the only Thoth tarot deck that I have, and it is the small card size. And the reason I got this deck, I've had this deck now for more than 20 years, is mainly because I wanted to have it in my collection. And at the time I thought it would be like learning the Rider-Waite Smith, but then I discovered it was Pip style, and I basically put it away and never really looked at it. But after studying the Marseille deck in the last couple of years, I'd like to go back and look at this deck again and read a book or two. So this is the Thoth deck. And the next one I'm going to show you is this one here, which is the CBD Tarot de Marseille. And again, I bought this one to learn with. And these are the backs. And it is a recolored traditional Tarot de Marseille. So this is the CBD Tarot de Marseille. And then the next one I have is the Tarot de Maria Celia, which is basically a butchered English way of saying Tarot de Marseille. And these are the backs, and it is a small deck. If you compare the size, it's smaller, pocket size. And this one, I got it because of the colors. It's I love the color, the fact that it was redesigned, and it's easy to carry in a tin. And some of the faces have some expression. And this is a popular Marseille deck as well. And I have two more, but in a nod to On the Cusp, to why at On the Cusp Tarot, I have these two here from the Triomphe della Luna by Patrick Valenza, and I still have them in their shrink wrap, and I haven't opened them at all. Well, as you can see, obviously, stating the obvious, and I'm not exactly sure why. I'm not studying the Marseille deck right now, so it's probably why, but I'm keeping them in my collection until I go back to studying again. And this concludes this segment of my traditional tarot decks. I hope you liked it. Please leave a comment if you're so inclined, or any feedback. And I'll end this here. Have a good day. Until next time.